There is one key difference, says Bentley, between the Mulsanne we already know and love and this new £252,000 Mulsanne Speed. And it is this: the Mulsanne is a car to be driven in, says Bentley, whereas the Mulsanne Speed is a car to drive. So are they telling the truth? Is the Mulsanne Speed, all 530 bhp and 2.7 tonnes of it, really and truly a driver's car? And if so, what does it feel like to climb into its majestic cabin and do just that?
So on the move, the big Bentley's Mulsanne Speed does feel really rather magnificent. I mean, I know they say it's the fastest luxury saloon in the world, etc, etc, but it doesn't feel like a performance car. It still feels like just the most lovely limousine to climb into and drive. They have tweaked the suspension, the steering, the gearbox settings, the engine settings and the throttle map settings, which you can change in the comfort program to just make it feel that little bit sharper and crisper. And it does make a difference, particularly to the steering. The steering is very nice in the Bentley Speed, more so than the Mulsanne. It's just more direct, more pure in its feel, just more sporting basically. But it is just a lovely thing to waft around in. I mean, the ride quality is absolutely beautiful. Even in sport, it's just way better than pretty much any other car on the road. And if you put it into comfort, just the level of serenity that accompanies your every move is just wonderful. It really is such a soothing thing to drive. Despite its increased sporting pretensions, the Mulsanne Speed is almost silent on the move as well. I mean, you've got 6.75 litres of twin-turbo V8 up there doing their best to thrust you at the horizon with as much energy as possible, but you pretty much can't hear it, not unless you really bury your foot in the carpet, and even then it's just a kind of distant rumble. I know it weighs 2.6 something tonnes. You know, that's a kind of small lorry, but with 811 pounds-feet of torque and 530 horsepower, it still properly goes when you put your foot down. It's completely magnificent, actually, the way it just kind of picks itself up and surges towards the horizon. It's absolutely outrageous. And one thing you definitely notice about the Speed is that it does definitely go around corners sweeter than the regular Mulsanne. It's just got this sort of edge of precision to it that does make you want to get in this seat and drive it rather than be chauffeured in it. The gearbox is the same 8-speed ZF that you get in the regular Mulsanne, but again they've tweaked the software just to make the changes that much sharper when you put it into sport, and it works really well. I mean, this gearbox is in all sorts of cars, from BMWs to Jaguars to Range Rovers, and it's a really good gearbox. It works really well. Flappy paddles in a Bentley do seem a little bit weird, but I don't know, it's the sporty version, so why not? Braking in a 2.6 tonne car is always going to be, shall we say, quite interesting. And Bentley hasn't felt the need to fit the carbon ceramic discs as standard to the Speed. And I think that's a bit mean. At 252 grand, I think I'd rather have the big rotors that are made from carbon, because when you really lean on the anchors in the Speed, if you do it time after time after time, you do kind of get the impression that you're not going to stop for what you need to. The braking is fine, but it's not epic. What is epic though is the way the Speed just makes you feel when you're behind the wheel. I mean, its cabin is gorgeous. It feels so luxurious and so expensive in here. And that's absolutely essential for a car like this, and it doesn't matter which of the 4 seats you're in. It's just the most beautiful thing to travel in.
The Mulsanne Speed's cabin is genuinely a thing of beauty. To distinguish it, Bentley has fashioned it with all sorts of bespoke new features, from quilted stitching on the seat backs to carbon fibre fillets on the door caps to, whisper this, drilled alloy pedals down in the footwell. And in the rear it gets even better, with optional new iPads in the folding rear tables and yet more carbon fibre on the door tops. The overall effect is pretty breathtaking, and you certainly know where your £250,000 is being spent. As you can probably tell, we drove the Speed in Miami, both downtown and on the more open roads to the northeast of the city, and inevitably it caused a stir pretty much everywhere it went. Never more so than when we stopped for a burger at you-know-where. Well, when in Rome, as they say. So is the Mulsanne Speed the driver's car that Bentley claims it is, or is it trying to be something it could never be? The answer is a bit of both. On the one hand, a 2.7-tonne car with a 6.75 litre engine whose roots can be traced back to the 1950s is never going to be at the cutting edge in 2015 and beyond. But on the other hand, just being behind the wheel and conducting a car like the Speed is in itself a quite magnificent experience. And yes, you do want to be the one who's doing the driving in this car. So in a way, the Mulsanne Speed is everything they say it is. And then it's a whole lot more on top besides.